Welcome back to North Central Weather Center. Hunter here, and looking here at today's weather forecast, we'll be talking about some severe weather moving through the central and northern United States over the next couple of days, as well as a major cool down into this weekend, and we'll follow up that looking at next week's weather pattern in today's weather forecast. If you are new to the channel and you like these forecasts, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. So let's go ahead and look at today's weather forecast. Looking at the morning temperatures across the north central states, colder to the north, near 32 degrees, around freezing up here into North Dakota, parts of South Dakota and Minnesota here. A little bit milder to the south. We have temperatures starting off into the 40s, even some 50s down here into Missouri this morning, in a very spring-like environment across our southern and easternmost areas this afternoon. Temperatures there will be into the 60s, if not the 70s. Our northern and northwestern reaches across the Dakotas, western portions of Nebraska, northern Minnesota will be held down into the 40s and 50s this afternoon as we have the colder air moving in on the backside of our storm system. Looking at Thursday afternoon, a tighter temperature gradient as warm front moves across portions of the Midwest. A cold front down here across the Central Plains, so north of those boundaries, temperatures will be much cooler into the 40s and 50s. South of those boundaries and east of those boundaries, we're going to be seeing temperatures into the 60s and well into the 70s, especially into eastern Kansas, Missouri, and southern Illinois on Thursday afternoon. And then all of us get in on the cooler weather for Friday afternoon as temperatures start to cool down into the 40s and low 50s during that time frame. We are monitoring some severe weather this afternoon and evening across portions of our central and southern viewing area, across portions of southeastern Nebraska, southern Iowa, getting into Kansas and Missouri, even western Illinois here. The bullseye of a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale around the Topeka region over towards Kansas City here, and that is the area of concern from Topeka to Kansas City in that vicinity. For those hatch marks, that means 2 inches or larger diameter hail will be possible there, and a 5% shading for tornadoes. So a few tornadoes will be possible across eastern Kansas into west central Missouri through this evening. Let's look here at the environment in which these storms will develop in. So looking at your surface-based CAPE, this is convective available potential energy, essentially storm fuel out there. The higher the number, the higher the chance for severe weather, most likely. With the higher energy values, you can see 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability across eastern Kansas and west central Missouri today. And then especially going into the late afternoon, evening hours, our low-level jet will start to crank up out of the south-southwest here around 40 to 50 knots or so. And this is definitely going to help out with our tornado threat up and around the Topeka and Kansas City region later this afternoon and this evening. Let's look at the timing of these storms, because this is very critical here. As you have work, we have school, we have any errands we're running today. Looking here at this morning, very dry across portions of the United States here in the central U.S., but this afternoon, our low pressure system across the Rockies will be moving into Nebraska, starting to see some rainfall and a few thunderstorms there, likely not severe. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have enough dynamics here into the panhandle of Nebraska to potentially see some smaller hail with this, with the colder air aloft. But it's really this evening, folks, around the dinner time frame and into the mid-evening hours, we're going to see those widely scattered supercells developing into eastern Kansas, western portions of Missouri, and lifting northward with the warm front. And if these storms can be rooted on the warm front here as it's lifting north, they could pose a risk for tornadoes and even some very large hail with these storms this evening. And then going into the early Thursday morning time frame, while we still could be seeing severe weather here at times, especially with those cells in the warm sector. North of the warm front, we're going to see repeated rounds of showers and storms, and this could lead to a flash flooding risk into early Thursday morning. The Weather Prediction Center already putting out a marginal risk of flash flooding across southeastern Nebraska, northern and northeast Kansas into southern Iowa, north central Missouri, and northwestern Illinois for today into Thursday time frame. And this is why a lot of this rainfall will be coming down down in a short amount of time, and there could be some isolated spots within this region of 1 to 3 inches of rain in a very short amount of time, especially on the Iowa-Missouri border there. So definitely keeping an eye on that through your Thursday morning commute. Now let's take a look at Thursday, a more volatile setup for our eastern viewing area. We do have a slight risk of severe weather across southeastern Iowa, the Illinois Valley here through Illinois, getting into portions there, Missouri, and even western Indiana seeing that slight risk as well. And this does lead to more potential for very large hail with these hatch marks in and around southeastern Iowa, west central Illinois, getting down through Missouri here. Those areas, including the Springfield, Missouri area, just northwest of St. Louis, up toward the Davenport, Quad Cities region here, we could be seeing those 2-inch or larger type of hailstones in this environment, and a 2% shading for tornadoes all across this region. And that even stretches along the warm front across the Ohio River Valley and into southern lower Michigan on Thursday. Looking at the setup, similar to today, a little bit more instability though. South of that warm front, Thursday afternoon and evening, 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability. That warm front, with the storms moving across that region overnight tonight into Thursday morning, that will likely reinforce the warm front further to the south, with that warmer air pushing further south once more. And looking here at the low-level jet on Thursday, while not impressive, it is enough to potentially see some rotating storms in this environment, especially with all that instability around 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. So Thursday morning, this is for your morning commute. Ongoing showers and storms. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of these storms are severe warned with maybe some quarter, half dollar size hail out there. Maybe those 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but this primarily will be a heavy rainfall setup for your Thursday morning across the Midwest Thursday afternoon. Now, looking here at the dynamics with this system, there's plenty of potential for these things to change, but right now those storms in the morning hours on Thursday could work over the atmosphere across northern Illinois into eastern Iowa, northeastern Missouri, and if that's the case, then we really won't see a lot of the redevelopment Thursday afternoon. We'll see just some low clouds out there with some drizzle. If we break into sunshine, however, there could be a period of time where we could start to see storms developing, and if they can take off, they will be severe. That's why the Storm Prediction Center has that slight risk all the way up there into the Midwest. So that's more of a conditional risk, and it hinges on the storm development earlier in the day. Now, looking further south into southern Missouri, a little bit different of a situation from Joplin over towards Springfield, Missouri there into the Ozarks. We could be seeing more of the volatile situation where those morning storms aren't really there further south, and we have more time to warm up. Our instability goes higher, and that low-level jet kicks in, so more activity Thursday afternoon there. And then Thursday evening, this will tendency to grow upscale into more of a line or lines of storms. This will likely produce more damaging winds, heavy rain, and large hail versus a tornado threat, but we'll keep an eye on this going through Thursday evening. Looking at the flash flood probability Thursday through Friday time frame, you can see that it goes all the way up into the Chicagoland, Milwaukee region, down through St. Louis here in the Ozarks. Keeping an eye on that marginal risk of flash flooding there Thursday into Friday. You can see some very heavy rainfall here in a couple of areas from the Midwest, and then especially down there outside of our viewing area into eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, and western Tennessee. Several inches of accumulating rain Thursday into Friday down there. Now let's look at our forecast from Friday the 15th through early next week, Tuesday the 19th time frame. Going into Friday, that cold front will shift further east, and that will end the chances for severe weather and really any thunderstorm activity in general. You can see that cold front will be sweeping into the eastern U.S. outside of our area on Friday, leaving us with high pressure and more sunshine out there. But going into the weekend, Saturday into Sunday, the 16th, 17th of the month, here comes another trough across portions of the upper Midwest. This will actually pull down some colder air for the weekend, especially into Sunday. And then early next week, this will be pushing across portions of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley region, and our eastern viewing area Monday the 18th into Tuesday the 19th. And looking at those temperatures on Saturday, while it's warmer across our southern areas into Kansas, Missouri, and southern Illinois into the 60s on Saturday, Here comes that cold air further up to the north. The upper Midwest temperatures will be around freezing there, around 31, 32, 33 degrees there on Saturday. Here comes even more of the cold air. Yes, these are high temperatures on Sunday, around freezing there into northern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northeastern Nebraska there. 40s and 50s further south into our southern areas, into Kansas, Missouri, and southern Illinois. Then getting into Monday, some return flow across our western viewing area could get us back into the western Dakotas, western and central Nebraska, and western and central Kansas back into the 60s, but areas east into the upper Midwest, the lower Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes will be much colder. We could be only into the 20s for highs in the UP of Michigan and northern Wisconsin on your Monday afternoon, and then that colder air will push eastward, still seeing some colder air there across the upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes going into Tuesday. Looking at next week as a whole, though, from Monday the 18th through Friday the 22nd, temperature anomaly-wise, you can see right around normal with our temperature anomalies here on either side of normal, trending a little bit slightly above normal across portions of our western viewing area, so more of western portions of the Dakotas into Nebraska and Kansas, but our eastern areas seeing more of those slightly below normal temperatures for portions in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, eastern Missouri, back through Indiana and Michigan there, so we'll keep an eye on that through next week. Also, looking at our precipitation anomalies through next week, Monday the 18th through Friday the 22nd, really pretty normal with our precipitation. No big, huge slug of moisture moving across the middle of the country, producing heavy rain or heavy snow. There will be some rainfall and maybe some snow at times, but I think overall a pretty normal week of precipitation as we go into that third week there into March. So that is your weather forecast. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, especially if you like today's weather forecast and additional forecast throughout the year. Make sure to press the like button down below if you did like today's weather content, and I will see you all tomorrow, or see you all later this week rather, on this weather forecast. I am Hunter. Thank you guys so much for watching.